a popular South African DJ, has been shot and killed in Johannesburg. Details are still sketchy at this stage, but police are on the scene. Our reporter Chriselda Lewis is there and joins us on the line. A very good afternoon to you, Chriselda. Devastation on the streets there, but of course details are still sketchy. What do we know so far?
Well, we can confirm at this hour that a popular South African DJ has been shot dead here in the Johannesburg CBD. As you can see, the scene is still active with the forensics teams still combing this scene. There is not much information at this particular stage, while SABC News is in possession of the name of the DJ that's been shot and killed. The family has asked, that are currently on location, have asked that the media not mention the name of the DJ at this stage. You would understand that family members are also still at this stage being informed of what has transpired here. SABC News does understand that the popular DJ had been working in one of these buildings here in the CBD, and what we do understand may have secured some contracts to ensure that the individuals that are inside that building are paying their rental. As you would know, there are a number of hijacked buildings here in the Johannesburg CBD. What we do understand is that this popular DJ had been roped in as part of a contract to clean up this particular building, and unfortunately we do understand that was on one of the floors, and when that DJ had come out of the building, several shots were fired, and unfortunately he passed away. The police have not really released a statement at this particular stage with regard to the finer details of what may have transpired, but we do understand from some of the eyewitnesses here at the scene that several shots were fired. We're still waiting to get some news from the spokesperson of the police here in Johannesburg or in Gauteng. But as you can see, this scene has been cordoned off for several hours now, and unfortunately we're not going to show you these visuals. It's something that we cannot show at this stage. The forensics are at this particular moment surrounding the body of the deceased and obviously doing their work. They have to comb the scene just right where the popular DJ passed away. The family of the deceased is also at the scene at this particular time, and you know, they were telling us that they're quite distraught by what has taken place, and they're not in a position at this stage. In fact, they've asked us not to mention who the DJ is at this stage. You would understand that some family members are still being informed of what has taken place, but we do understand that he was working in one of these buildings, which is towards my left-hand side, and that building, we do understand, the popular DJ had been roped in to come and do some security work and basically get the building, which I understand at this particular point may have been hijacked. There were not everyone inside that building had been paying rental, so with all the security measures, I do understand that were being put in place by the popular DJ who is now passed away. And I must apologize, I keep saying the popular DJ because I'm really trying to shy away from pointing towards a direction which may link the name of the deceased to what has transpired here without waiting for the family to give us the go-ahead. But the scene is still active at this stage. It has been for a couple of hours now. In fact, a few moments ago, the media were asked also to move away as the forensics are on scene at this particular stage. You know, the family is obviously very distraught by what has taken place. I know that you know, some of the relatives, as we were here on scene, were being informed of what had taken place, and no report yet from the police at this stage in terms of what really transpired, what exactly they are investigating. It's very difficult at this stage, I must say, also to speak to some of those who would have heard the shots go off, as well as the eyewitnesses, because clearly what transpired here, you cannot tell. There are many bystanders as well that have circled this particular area, but nobody really wants to say anything at this point in terms of what they heard or what they might have seen, because obviously what took place here, and I'm not saying that this might be linked to the work that the DJ was doing in this particular building and the contract that he may have secured, but it seemed like he was basically here to come and clean up in this particular area. He'd secured that contract to do so, and he had come outside the building, and when he came outside the building, several shots had been fired. That's really the details that we have at this particular stage. But you can see, I'll ask my colleague Gabin Jokweni to point his camera, or rather move in the direction of where you will see the forensics teams still at this stage in conversation with the forensics teams still with the police at this particular stage, and they're still combing the scene at this particular time, and perhaps a bit later on the family of the deceased will release a statement making a formal announcement, and until then we will not be mentioning the name of the deceased, but certainly it has sent shockwaves around here in the Johannesburg CBD, given the fact that those eyewitnesses and people that were in this area at the time told us about how the gunshots had run off and had rang out, and many of them not willing to speak at this stage, I think in fear of being seen on television and commenting on what has transpired here as police continue to comb the scene. As I indicated, the family of the deceased is still at the scene at this particular time, including some of the friends of the popular DJ, South African DJ, was incredibly talented. I don't want to get into much details about where the DJ had been working or where the DJ had previously worked. That might give an indication of who exactly I'm talking about. So I'm really trying to thread very carefully at this particular stage as we await for the family to make an official announcement of what had transpired here and exactly what details we're able to give out to the public at this particular stage. We're still trying to get hold of the police at this particular stage to get perhaps a release, a press release from them in terms of what exactly may have transpired here and exactly what they're investigating at this particular point. But we're live from the Johannesburg CBD, where a popular South African DJ has been shot and killed. Those are the details that we have at this particular stage.
Right, Chriselda, you're now speaking to Unathi, of course, just having listened to you, gut-wrenching scenes there. Chriselda Lewis, our senior reporter at that particular scene. It is a developing story. It is a breaking news story of the hour. A popular South African DJ, as Chriselda Lewis has been telling us, has been shot and killed in Johannesburg. Details at this stage are very sensitive, and Chriselda can't say a lot, of course, as she's just explained. Police are at the scene, as we can see also from those visuals in Johannesburg. The body is still at the scene. The family obviously has still to be told, and police will confirm at a later time, given the sensitivity of this nature and just how live this particular scene is, before we can share any details at this particular point in time. But there you have it, the breaking news story of this afternoon. Just moments ago, of course, Chriselda Lewis giving us that heads up before she went to the scene. And as soon as those details come from her end, we'll continue to appraise you as our viewers, just in terms of who the DJ was and the circumstances surrounding this particular shooting. I can see on the screen on my right-hand side, of course, as police are still converging at that particular scene, as well as a number of various units from the various police stations, of course, with tape cordoned off at that particular area. So we'll take you live there as soon as Chriselda has more information for us. And of course, we are treating it as a very sensitive story at this stage, as family members have not yet been confirmed. We do understand that there are many unconfirmed reports on social media, but as soon as we get the go-ahead from the family, more importantly, and the SAPS, we will share that information with you. But
a very shocking scenes and, of course, news for many South Africans who knew of this particular DJ and loved his work. We do understand, of course, that he also did some work on television as well. But we'll give you the very latest as soon as we have it. For now, let's just remind you of our top stories that we are tracking here on the SABC News channel, and also just give you a little bit of sense of what else transpired earlier today. All right, in fact, let's give you a sense then of that top story. A popular South African DJ has been shot and killed in Johannesburg. Those scenes on your screen are what you are currently seeing, what we are currently seeing. Of course, Chriselda Lewis at the scene for us. Details at this stage, as I've indicated, are sketchy, but police are on the scene, and we will give you the very latest as soon as we have it. All right, let's see if we can get Chriselda back on the line. Chriselda, if you can hear me, of course, we are watching those scenes on our television screens. Just a few moments ago, you told us, of course, that very little information you could tell us at this stage, given the sensitivities of this particular breaking news, and that the families themselves are still yet to be told about this particular incident. Just give us a sense of what you're hearing at the moment.
Well, indeed, details are still very sketchy at this particular point, and I can tell you that the family is currently in conversation with the South African Police Service, some family members. The forensics teams are still combing the scene that has been active for a couple of hours now, Unati, and the body of the deceased still remains on location at this stage, and I think it's going to be that way given the fact that the forensics are still combing the scene and still doing their investigations. And I must tell you, Unati, from where I am, I do see quite a number of cameras here in the Johannesburg CBD. You would recall that in Joburg, there had been a number of cameras that had been set up as part of crime prevention in the Johannesburg CBD. And from where I am, there are quite a number of cameras that I can see where they are, which police are likely to use in their investigations into what transpired here. But what I can tell you is that the popular South African DJ had been working in one of these buildings here in the Johannesburg CBD, which is not too far from Carlton Centre. And he'd been working in that building. He'd been roped in, I do understand, as part of a contract. You would know that some of the buildings in this area are hijacked buildings. He'd been brought in, I do understand. I will also perhaps likely get information at a later stage. And with that, there'd been some biometrics and some security measures that were being put in this building. And I'm not saying at all at this stage that it may be linked to that, but while he was busy with that operation with his team, he'd come outside and stood on the corner of one of these areas that's been cordoned off, and several shots rung out, we understand from eyewitnesses here. We're still waiting for an official police report from the police officer who is currently on standby to speak to the media at this stage. Perhaps we'll be able to get a little more details about that at a later stage, but what we can confirm at this stage, and in fact we have spoken to the family of the deceased, and they've asked the media at this stage not to mention the name of the popular South African DJ who unfortunately met his demise here in the Johannesburg CBD. They're still communicating with family members at the stage. In fact, just a couple of moments after I'd spoken to you earlier, the family had been on a telephone call speaking to, I do understand, some family members of the deceased, are still trying to convey this terrible news that has taken place. But official details, of course, will come from the South African Police Service. What I'm currently reporting on at this stage is what we've been told thus far. Not many eyewitnesses want to come and speak to us at this stage, because you would know the issue relating to security as well as hijacked buildings in the Johannesburg CBD is a very contentious issue, and some have even labelled, some that we've spoken to have labelled it as quite dangerous. So at this stage, nobody is willing to say anything, but we do know the name of the South African DJ that has sadly passed away, shot and killed here in the Johannesburg CBD. This is still a very active scene at this particular stage, and police are still combing the scene together with the forensics teams. The family still remains on location at this stage. We're also waiting for them to make a formal announcement about what has transpired. So at this particular stage, all we do know is that this had taken place a couple of hours ago. The forensics teams, as you can see, my colleague Kabin will show you some part of those teams, perhaps what they might have found on location. They are obviously going to need to investigate whatever it is that they have found. The media and other individuals have also been asked to move away from where the authorities, including those forensics teams, are doing their work at this stage. But this certainly is devastating. We certainly can confirm that this is a popular South African DJ that has been shot and killed in the Johannesburg CBD. We do understand that it had been part of an operation that he was doing here, part of a contract where he had been roped in to do some security work in this building. And unfortunately, as he came downstairs, while I understand there might have been biometrics and other security measures that they were installing in this building, when he came downstairs, several shots had rung out, and unfortunately that is where he met his demise. We'll wait for that official statement to come from the family, but certainly this is still a very active scene, and we'll try to establish a connection with the spokesperson for the police here in Johannesburg, who might be able to give us further details about that. But we're expecting the family to release some statement about what has transpired, and for them to make a formal announcement to the South African public about the demise, about this popular South African DJ having been shot and killed here in the Johannesburg CBD. Well, Nati, those are the details that we have for you at this hour. We'll certainly give you more when we can, but yes, it's still very active, the scene at this particular stage. And unfortunately, while the forensics continue to do their work, the body of the deceased still remains here at this particular scene. And we'll perhaps try to speak to the family a little bit later on to see if there's any further details they'll be able to share for us. Of course, when they are ready to make that announcement, we will certainly do so here on SABC News. Those are the details that we have for you at this stage, live from the Johannesburg CBD, from the location or scene of where a popular South African DJ has been shot and killed.
All right, Chriselda Lewis bringing us that breaking news story. And as Chriselda Lewis has said, we will take you there as soon as she has more details for us. At this stage, the family would like to keep the name of the popular South African DJ who was shot and killed in Johannesburg under wraps until they can give the go-ahead. Of course, this is the breaking news story of the hour.